feel like I live in a world made of cardboard, always taking constant care not to break someone. Never allowing myself to lose control, even for a moment, or someone could die. But you can take it, can't you, big man? What we have here is a rare opportunity for me to cut loose and show you just how powerful I really am.
By far, the most scariest Justice League member is the Boy Wonder Superman. Although some may say Wally West the Flash comes close, there is no doubt Clark Kent reigns over them all. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen, because with a thing for holding back his strength, just how powerful would Superman be if he let it all loose? Superman's first appearance dates all the way back to the 1930s, appearing in Action Comics issue 1. From the start, it was clear he would be DC's break, being the first superhero in the genre, giving them a jump start into the comic scene. Now, Superman would always be an immense character, but our first hint of his powers would be in comics like Superboy issue 140. This story is about Clark's battle with the supposed luckiest man on Earth. He goes through many obstacles and impossible dilemmas, and of course he succeeds, but that's not what we're here for. In this comic, Superman would just casually move thousands of planets from their home galaxies to save billions of lives. And although there isn't much details to this feat, there is many others like it, such as Action Comics 273. Action Comics 273 would take us back to a longtime villain of Clark Kent, Mr. Mxyzptlk, by far the strongest Superman enemy. In this comic, Mr. Mxyz would send off a mysterious globe that would leave Clark intrigued. Now, after further investigation, Superman would realize this was all a prank for him to consume a lot of sneezing powder. This would lead to him traveling across the universe, creating a sneeze so large it would destroy an entire solar system. Now, Mxyz would demonstrate many other pranks throughout the comic, but ultimately this one would show a starting point of just how strong Superman really is. Now, a lot of people think the question of what if Superman went all out is pointless because of injustice. I mean, we've seen him lose everything, we've seen his limitations, we know what happened, right? Well, it's good to know the Injustice Superman isn't actually canon to the real Superman. When we look back at Barry Allen's notes for the multiverse, we see the Injustice universe is just another Earth that imitates Superman. Even looking back at the comic called Multiversity, we see there's many other universes just like Injustice that imitate Clark Kent. One where Superman would get the powers of Dr. Manhattan, another where Superman was born into Nazi Germany where he'd help them get the win in World War II, and there's even one where Clark Kent and the rest of the Justice League are women. The reason why this is so important is because the World Forger claims the strongest Superman is the canon one, which is exactly who we're talking about. So with it all said and done, what would happen if Superman stopped holding back? His power is clearly beyond his imitations, and I think the best way to gauge it is starting with Superman Up in the Sky. Superman Up in the Sky is a fairly recent comic that was released back in 2020. The story generally portrays Superman's humane side and his ambition to saving people. It's a clear factor to pushing Clark in this comic and also showing us his strength. You see, it's interesting. The story starts with Batman notifying Superman that there's a girl in the hospital that needs to talk to him. She claimed her and her friend were playing superheroes together until an alienated intruder came and abducted her friend. After hearing this information, there would be nothing that could stop Superman from saving this girl from death. Although he had a job on the line and had to leave the city and the rest of his friends, he would do it still. The way he would begin his journey is by reading a mathematically impossible equation where everything would start. Now, it's good to know the challenges he faced on this journey were not the easiest. Constant fear of death for a loved one, fights that are nearly impossible to win, and even breaking a vow or two. But the worst of them all, we would see this in the last issue, which is issue 6 of Superman Up in the Sky. The main threats in this comic are robots that were intruding Earth and the rest of the universe. They were made by a mad scientist with the intention of adapting to anything that is thrown at them. We'd see on Earth every hero present was struggling, such as Atana claiming her magic was limited against them, and Aquaman claiming they took over all of Atlantis. But as I said before, with the child on the line, there was nothing that would stop Superman. Next, we see some of our greatest superheroes, such as Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing, and Flash, be outran, outmatched, and consumed. But once again, with the life on the line, Superman would obliterate through hundreds of these. It was clear the heroes of Earth stood no chance against these robots. That's why when they shut down at the end of the story, Batman claims it wasn't because of them, but because of Superman. Now, this is an an interesting pattern in Clark's character. Throughout the years, Batman has always hyped up Superman's strength with statements like he's the most powerful man on Earth, and even saying he could kill the entire Justice League if he wanted to. I mean, even cosmic beings would praise Superman's powers. Back in Apokolips, Darkseid's henchman Desaad will compare Superman to the rest of the gods, claiming he's the only one worthy of traveling to the Source Wall because of his unimaginable strength. Another instance like this will be in DC Comics Presents issue 29. In this comic, Superman will be looking for Supergirl, flying at speed so fast he will be shattering space, time, and infinity. He would eventually run into one of the many cosmic beings in DC, which is the Spectre. The Spectre would then make the statement, above all, Superman is one of the most powerful beings in the entire multiverse. And we've seen many comics that prove this, such as in the story Where's Thy Sting, Superman would face the literal concept of death and not only defeat it, but also enlighten it. You'd see another example of this in Action Comics issue 1000, where Vandal Savage would put Superman into a hyper-reality trap, trapping him into multiple realities, where once again Clark would break these realities and defeat Vandal Savage. But above all, his best feat surely places in the Justice League comic issue 39. This comic gives a clear comparison of power for Superman with the Justice League. Lex Luthor has gotten new powers and abilities and wants to destroy everything once and for all. You see, he's gotten the powers of something called the Seven Forces. These are the 7 key components of the multiverse, things such as the Speed Force, Emotional Spectrum, Sphere of Gods, and many other things. So with these new powers, he would decide to handle the Justice League alone, starting with the Green Lantern. With the flick of his finger, he would create every construct the Lantern has made, dropping it right on his head. Next, for the Flash, although he put up a decent fight, he would be taken down with one single shot. But no one would even come close to putting up as good as a fight as Superman did. I'm talking blow for blow, pound for pound, with the being who has the power of the multiverse in his hands. So what would happen if Superman went all out? Nobody would be safe until one of the many cosmic beings step in, like the World Forger. But the truth of the matter is, Clark Kent would never break his values and go all out. It's not as simple as Injustice, where you can kill the love of his life and he loses everything. Although he may be a god that can outrun the concepts of space and time, deep down he's still a kid that was raised by humans, Papa and Mama Kent. Instilled with values and morals he promises to never break, and we know this for a fact because in Action Comics 796, Superman would face the same scenario as Injustice. Lois Lane is dead, laying right in front of him, and he doesn't know how to act. At first he wants to murder her killer, turn him to ashes, his heart filled with hate. But then he remembers that would undo utterly everything he spent his life fighting for. All the principles him and Lois promised to honor, as vengeance is not justice. Of course, at the end of the comic, the villain would reveal this was all a mind trick to test Superman, to show all it takes is one bad day to break a man, but you, Clark, are different. This goes to show no matter what, Superman will forever remain and never change under any circumstance. And that, ladies and gentlemen, answers the question, what if Superman went all out? Thank you for watching. I am done.